So I know by now we probably have heard who won building the band. Uh, I'm okay with frequency winning, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Um, if you saw my previous video, you know that I preferred season 4 and Solidified, but I understand why Frequency won it, and I will explain that. It comes down to marketing. I know that Netflix, whenever these shows come to their decisions, right? The producers play a huge part of that, right? So they're looking for a group that they can tell the advertisers, especially if there's another season, look, we have this marketable group. They have a certain look. They have a certain current vibe about them, which I think Frequency had. And I think that the show was really pushing for Frequency to show during during the finale. They had a whole production going on with their finale. I'm just like, and season 4 just had like microphones in their feet, and I'm like, okay. So that was that. So I think that I'm okay with it. I do like Frequency. I don't have any problem with them. I think they're talented. I think they're cute. I think they're relatable. I think they're very humble. There have been some issues with blending, and some of those videos have popped up on the internet where people are sort of questioning the blending with Nori and the other two girls. But I think with work, it could be fine. I don't mind them winning. I just prefer the other two. And I also see it in terms of like the career trajectory for the other two groups. Season 4, you'll see a lot of comparisons to them. To Pentatonics, like a group like Pentatonics. I actually watched the show that Pentatonics won before they became popular. It was some sort of a cappella competition. It was hosted by Nick Lachey. It was only one season, and it was corny, it was nerdy, it was dorky. It was for theater kids and music geeks like me. And yeah, I watched it. Pentatonics won, of course. And after that show, they had kind of like a slow trajectory, right? They had a lull. They developed a grassroots fan base. They posted a lot. They became known for their online videos. And then all of a sudden they just shot up and became popular. I think that the same may happen with season 4 as they work out their craft, as they develop, as a group. They may have the same sort of trajectory. They may just sort of move slowly, and then all of a sudden the career is going to go off. And I think that that sort of growth might be a little too slow for producers of Netflix or even like the judges. And then the judges, like, why were they giving Solidified grief about their name just to have them change it to something like iconic? So I think like it shows like where the judges' heads were at. They were like, okay, well, we have to change your name. Before the show was even over, like all the names were corny. Okay, you had a group called Siren Society and Sweet Seduction. All the names were corny. Okay, so like getting on them about their name was just like nitpicking to me. I thought it was like problematic, and I think I didn't like that at all. But I think they picked Solidified. I believe the last I checked, it was like 70% of people were like, no, keep the name. And they announced they were going to keep the name. So there's that. I think they're going to have a long career. I think in terms of longevity, season 4 has it, Solidified has it in terms of longevity, frequency, as well, as long as they work on blending as a group vocally. I think they can as well. But as I said, Frequency was seen as more of like the current sort of in style group, and the other two were sort of like the old school. But we need old school. We like nostalgia. I like the name Solidified. It was so like Soul for Real, like Color Me Bad, like those throwback names. Like it says this is a group, a male group, right? And season 4 as well. So I'm just like, I don't have any worries about them. They're active online. They're posting, they're singing. Great for them. I know they're going to have like great careers, and I'm rooting for all of them. So maybe there'll be a season 2. It was entertaining. And also another thing that I did like about the show, I like how they didn't sort of front like they're going to give people a record deal. They're like, we'll just give you the money and let you figure out the rest. Because most of the time these shows get people locked into garbage record deals anyway. You never hear from them again. So I like the fact that they said, look, we'll just give you the money and you'll figure out the rest. So I like that part. So that in that sense, I do respect the show in terms of that. R.I.P. Liam Payne. That's it. We'll see what happens for next season, if there is going to be one. I hope there is. I hope there is. And I like the approach. I just think that in terms of the judges, if there is a next season, try not to be too detached from what the people actually would want versus what you think in the whole like bubble that they live in, what would be good in terms of Hollywood. I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.